Today on Built to Last, how to build champions.
I couldn't hold up to a half mile with him.
I just never quit.
And a hero breaks ground.
You know, this is where the opening is. Is this where the house is gonna be?
Put down your remote and pick up a hammer. It's time for Built to Last.
Built to Last is brought to you by the Chicago Regional Council of Carpenters Labor and Management Committee and Simpson Strong Tie.
Welcome to Built to Last. I'm Mark Nilsson.
And I'm Monica Peterson. Today we'll meet a carpenter who knows that of all of the important measurements, age is just a number. And we'll check in with Kyle and Alex Moser, who inspirationally continue to follow their dreams.
But first, a story that's very close to my heart. The Chicago Cubs waited a long, long time to get back to the Fall Classic. But before they were swinging for the fences and reversing curses, they were invigorating the most iconic ballpark in the country.
Towering skyscrapers and bustling thoroughfares help form its visage, but a city's soul is built on tradition, and few traditions stir the souls of Chicagoans like arriving at the friendly confines of Wrigley Field.
Seeing that marquee, there's nothing like it.
We'd go as families, spend the whole day there.
Grew up in the suburbs, Park Forest, and Palos Heights, and buddy lives in Wrigleyville. I'm here all the time. Remember being as a kid watching the games with everybody and cheering them on. As long as I can remember, and coming home to my dad, and he would tell me stories about Ron Santo and Ernie Banks.
They were the lovable losers. You know, I don't know what the right is. There's no great deal of respect for that, but you know, it's a certain stick-to-itiveness.
It was a team that never gave up.
1908 marked the last time the Cubs won the World Series, and that wasn't even at Wrigley. The 1908 World Series was played at Westside Park, a stadium just to the southwest of Chicago's downtown. Westside remained the home of the Cubs until they moved to Addison and Clark in 1914. Initially named Weeman Park, in 1926 the park was renamed Wrigley. While there were some highs, including 8 National League pennants, the last chance they had at a World Championship was in 1945.
My father was 11 years old, and his father brought him to see the Cubs play at the World Series game. And he's one of the few people I know that is still alive and can say that.
Good memories. Bad teams, but good memories.
In the past, it's been a lot of heartbreak, obviously.
You're born a Cub fan, you're going to stay a Cub fan.
Watched many other teams, but something about the Cubs.
In 2009, things changed.
There's a lot of work to do, but everyone needs to know that we are here for the long term, and we are here to win.
New ownership had a new vision for the Cubs and the friendly confines.
I want to be right in the middle of everything. I want to feel everything. And I think when you do that, you really are able, and I did say do, babe. And I really think that you're able to connect with the whole group.
They began an ambitious plan to restore not just the team, but the famous ballpark.
The 1060 renovation project is one of those once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. It's a historic restoration project at Wrigley Field. What gets me excited coming in is just the challenge.
Wrigley Field is a very unique place to work, a Chicago landmark with a lot of unique features.
Every day, you're going to have to bring your A game. And I keep reminding those guys, especially the younger guys, that, hey, you're going to be exposed to more on this project than most people will in 10 years.
And as construction began on Wrigley, the new Cubs management started to bring in promising players. It wasn't just Pepper Construction and their crew that was feeling the excitement.
I think it's great. I can't wait for it to be done. I have no idea how it's going to be ready in time.
There's this new rebuilt team of young superstars, and they're refurbishing, you know, the best ballpark.
The architecture and design I enjoy going there just to sit and watch the game.
It's like a cathedral. It's like, you know, it's like a place of worship.
My grandma just turned 79, and you know, we've been sending her pictures to the marquee and being able to share this with the family. It's unbelievable.
And just as hope spread across the city of broad shoulders, the construction crews were working hard to make sure Wrigley Field was looking like the House of Champions.
And it's the whole gamut of construction, from deep foundation to steel augmentation to new construction to restoring old parts of the ballpark back to its former glory.
I really appreciate the level of detail that they're going through to keep so much of it intact and keep that the romance of the old ballpark.
Very rarely do you see projects of this nature, of this scale, this magnitude in the public eye.
And on opening day, the famous bricks and ivy were ready to be friendlier confines for the team and fans.
It looks really, really nice.
Dexter Fowler is the first Cub to reach the new seats with a home run to right field.
Run after run had the city transfixed on the way to a National League pennant.
My wife actually suggested the night that they won the division that my brother should bring my father to the game.
Went to Cleveland with my brother for the first game, which was a loss. Went to game 3 at home, which was a loss.
I was caught between my buddy asking me to take a road trip down to Cleveland with him. He was able to get tickets for $500, or I could go down to Wrigleyville and celebrate with all the Cubs fans.
Went to game 5 at Wrigley, which was the start of the comeback.
My father, who lives in Florida now, actually flew up here, 82 years old.
I watched game 7 with my wife and my 2 children.
Game 7, I was with my brother.
My brother took him to the World Series game, and he was just thrilled.
To come back from down 3-1, it would have to take a group of naive kids to do something like that.
It's that passion and that belief that they were going to do it at some point. And she was fortunate enough that it happened, at 8 years old.
I think it's closing a really long chapter in a long book and opening a new one. Who knows how long it's going to be.
It just gives you goosebumps.
I think it was the best present my brother could ever give him.
I put a ball diamond up and called it Ferrill of Dreams. I wanted all the kids in the neighborhood to play together.
At Armstrong Ceiling and Wall Solutions, we take great pride in making a positive difference in the lives of people. With the broadest portfolio in the industry and the technical performance to back it up, you can design and install with confidence. Our ceiling construction expertise, training, and pre-engineered ceiling solutions make it easy for you to seamlessly transition from one end of the building to the other. Improve construction efficiencies and keep every job on time, on budget, and on the mark with Armstrong Ceiling and Wall Solutions. Faster, easier, better.
Keeping restaurants and hotels up to date with the latest design trends is a constant challenge. Finding qualified contractors isn't at finishingchicago.com. We work with top designers and general contractors who use the latest painting, drywall finishing, and wall covering techniques in Chicagoland's premier hotels and restaurants. The hospitality industry relies on finishingchicago.com as its free resource to find quality finishing contractors. For a great finish, start with finishingchicago.com.
Carpenter Brian Ferrill puts in an 8-hour day on the Meridosha Bridge in southern Illinois. But when he isn't helping construct our country's roads, he's pounding the pavement to train for something truly special. Brian Ferrill knows better than anybody when something is built to last.
Brian Ferrill is our steward on the job, and it's been great working with him.
Every time I've come onto the job and seen him, he's got tools in his hand and he's working away.
As long as you listen to him, you can learn a lot.
Brian has been known to bicycle to different places.
They probably think I'm a little crazy.
I started talking to him and realized that he rode bikes.
I can ride 20, 30 miles, and you can pedal up the hill and coast down and you can see so much more.
Keeps talking about how he's gonna bicycle from Jacksonville down to our house at some point for one of our barbecues.
I started actually visiting friends and an old retired carpenter.
Oh, I hear about it every now and then.
I usually was getting up at 3:30 in the morning and going to the track and running a couple miles.
He'll tell me when he's got an event going on and like his training.
Shower up, go to work for 10 hours down there on the bridge.
He's competitive. It doesn't surprise me that he's going to do that.
And then come home and I would lift weights a little bit, swim, and bicycle.
I couldn't hold up to a half a mile with him.
I just never quit. Most people my age have.
But while getting up in the dead of night to train before the start of a grueling workday might sound certifiably insane, there's a method to his madness.
I've heard a little bit about his senior games that he's been training for, and I know that he's competed in there before, and he's done well.
Our National Senior Games is an Olympic-style multi-sport event in which we have 10,000 athletes competing in 19 sports from across the entire U.S.
You say senior citizens and you think, you know, they're all walking with canes and wheelchairs, but I thought I was a good bicyclist. There was a guy in his late 60s, was retired, and he was leading the pack. I was trying to keep up with the lead pack, and I did for 8 or 9 miles, but I just got back from the RAGBRAI the week before, 520 miles across Iowa, so.
Based on your performance at the state event, that's how you then qualify and become eligible for the national event.
I did pretty good. I qualified in 4 different events. Swimming, bicycling, track and field, and badminton. Everybody always likes to win gold, you know. Everybody wants to win, do their best, you know. But I think it's kind of nice to lose. Because then you think, okay, I've got to try harder. Most men, you know, love to watch football and drink beer. I would rather be out in the woodworking shop, you know, building something. I have 2 sons, and the oldest one, part of me is in him in the sports, and Jacob, the younger one, was always out in the wood shop with me. Years ago, what appealed to me about being a carpenter was that I like to take a board and see what I could make with my imagination, try to one-up myself, so to speak, from one to the next. Really, it's like the United Brotherhood of Carpenters. You can take journeyman upgrade classes and, you know, pile on more skills that, you know, are useful to you in your career. You have to get the job done. You have to concentrate on what you're doing. You know, when we're on the bridge up there, I mean, you get up in the air, you have to watch where you're going. You have to have good balance, you know, and you have to have stamina.
Him competing in the games has dedicated himself to it, and I have a certain sense of pride he has to do. I think he'll do great.
There's a big brotherhood, and I mean not just carpenters, all the crafts, all the trades.
Just as his brothers and sisters in the union support his quest for excellence in the senior games, Brian has found a way to support his community.
Built us a house on one lot, and the lot next to it was kind of a pie shape like a ball diamond, so instead of building a house there, I put a ball diamond up and called it Ferrill of Dreams. I wanted all the kids in the neighborhood to play together, you know, so Sunday night they would come over and play 2 innings and put my father's name on it, William Walter. Made it his field. So he used to call me all the time and say, "Are you taking care of my field?" My dad taught me good work ethic, and probably the best text I ever got was August 31st of 2016 was from my youngest son. And he said, "Thank you for teaching me a good work ethic. Love you." Thank you, Jacob. I love Joshua, Patrick, and Jacob Paul. They mean the world to me, and that's really my motivation.
With 10,500 registered athletes, the National Senior Games is the largest multi-sport event in the world for people over 50.
Kyle and Alex Moser are such an incredible couple.
They are. And Rob North checks in with them as their journey to rebuilding their lives continues.
Thank you so much, guys. Marine Corporal Kyle Moser and his wife Alex's excitement is growing after learning that they were awarded a functional home by Jared Allen's Home for Wounded Warriors. Now, they just have to find a place to put it.
Kyle and I both grew up in like nice homes with big yards and stuff, and I think that's the vision that we have for our family.
Kids are mowing the lawn and taking care of the dishes and doing the laundry, and no, I'm just kidding.
I feel like having a home just makes it feel like the environment is right for a family to happen.
So you need to have a nice spot
a good chunk of land.
I would pick the town and then drive around it and try to find the best lot.
Within an established development, they found a beautiful wooded lot.
This lot is basically tiered back from the street in a wooded area. We don't have street exposure. We're really excluded from neighbors, so it creates a very private environment.
But their little slice of paradise contains a protected wetland.
Near wetlands, we can have a soil where it's too soft, where it's not going to support the loads being transferred to that footing. If the soil isn't capable of supporting a foundation, then the whole structure is going to fail.
To assess stability and the depth of the water table, you've got to take a soil sample.
We look to see what the water table is and the condition of the ground soil that we're building on. So normally for a one-story house, we go down 42 inches. We're trying to find out where that water table is to see if we have to, if there's bad soil in the area, if we have to over-excavate and compensate for that. In the plan, it's probably...
Fortunately for the Mosers, the soil passes muster. Alex, Kyle, and architect Bruce Abora pay a visit to the lot to try and envision where their dream home will fit into the landscape.
This site basically has to be where everything can be wheelchair accessible. So everything has to be at one level. We're dealing right now with a site that is relatively a flat site, but until it's developed and stuff, there are going to be some challenges with that.
Now, is there going to be a sidewalk coming up here? Or is the sidewalk primarily just going to end up there?
We're going to have to put a temporary road in to access the site. So, and that's kind of one of the things that isn't typical of home construction. Here we have to bring a road in to start construction of the site. This is pretty much where your property starts.
Eventually, the temporary access road will be paved up to their property line.
We got to branch off, access for the two adjacent properties. And then from this point, your drive comes in and kind of this becomes your setting. The first time I met Kyle and Alex, my first impression is they're very young. And the one thing about that is for a person at that age to all of a sudden want to design a house can sometimes be a daunting task.
Well, whatever they do have to get it right the first time.
A lot of responsibility for sure. There's a lot to consider. They have to be able to know what they want and what they need in order for their family to be happy and comfortable.
As far as the area around the house, are you leaving most of it natural? Are you looking to develop some of it? How do you see it as well?
I think we definitely would want to have some grass.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So coming up to here, this is where the opening is. Is this where the house is going to be?
This is probably close to what the edge of the buildable area is. That's kind of designated on the lot.
So it's more up front.
Right.
I guess you just have to have a vision. We can have a beautiful house right here, and the driveway will bend around over there, and I see that tree house up there.
Kyle and I kind of decided that that's our favorite tree on the lot.
Okay, well that's great to know.
The tough thing with building on a lot that has the trees is the access. And obviously there's going to be some trees that are going to have to be removed, but there's also trees that can stay. We make sure that we take care of where we're placing materials, where the equipment is being stored, making sure that as we're working, we don't negatively impact the trees that are existing.
And it turns out, Alex and Kyle have already started feeling at home on the lot.
We went camping a couple times, found out that there might be a coyote den on the property at like 4 in the morning. We started hearing howls.
One of the things we have to consider in this design is Kyle and his wife have 2 large dogs.
They really do make such a huge difference in our daily lives.
We've grown really close to them, and mentally they help me out a lot.
They talked about a dog run or a dog penning area. This being such a large lot, we have to make some accommodations to where they can let the animals out. The fact that they're talking about having children and not knowing how that could impact the house, things we're looking at is the coordination of the design of the house, as well as access to the outdoors and things like that, incorporating play areas.
Me personally, with the wetland, I would be concerned of my kids. What if they wander too far back there?
I think I would want, obviously, the kitchen, you know, facing the backyard. Enough windows to have an eye on the kids.
So with the wetlands, I understand that we can't really disturb it per se, but are we able to enhance it and possibly like put a pond back there? Or is that?
Technically, you're really not supposed to do anything to it.
Okay,
I think you have plenty of other areas where you can maybe incorporate a pond. It's the fact that that area can't really be developed or disturbed, you don't want to really go into there. The next steps we're going to be taking with Kyle and Alex is we've got their ideas, we're going to start blocking out some plans, things that make sense that we feel will fit on the site, and start developing some elevations and things like that to bring the project together.
The kitchen is important. If you're gonna have a big family, that's where all the love and the cooking and everything goes down in the kitchen.
Stabila, for over 125 years, has led the industry in measuring and leveling. Still manufactured in Germany since 1865, tradesmen rely on Stabila every day for its precision and durability. We continue to revolutionize the way we build with our lasers, levels, and laser distance measuring tools on commercial and residential job sites around the world. Stabila, how true pros measure.
Meet the new family of Blaze laser measures from Bosch. Go ahead, turn it on and start measuring. It's that simple. The Blaze family offers a wide range of functions to tackle any measuring job. Extend your reach with accuracy up to a 1/16 of an inch. With Bluetooth-enabled devices, easily transfer measurements to your smartphone or tablet with free Bosch apps. Reach farther, work faster, and stay accurate with the Bosch Blaze family of laser measures. Measure on.
While they know there's a lot of hard work ahead, the carpenters are beginning to labor to ensure that Alex and Kyle are able to build their dream home.
Can I get you anything to drink? You good?
I'm good right now, thanks.
All right, awesome. To business.
Yep, let's get started.
Inspired by Alex and Kyle's dreams for their home, Brew Sabora prepared the first blueprints.
Looks great. So we're not really set on too much of anything right now. The garage, I just wanted to make sure I had enough space to where if I parked the car in the garage, I had enough wheelchair space to get out and get the chair in and out.
ADA standards are set to make sure that anybody in a wheelchair is capable of functioning and living a productive life and be able to access everything. So all the openings are going to be 36 inches.
So what we've developed here is we've got the covered porch entry. You come into the foyer. The one side's going to be the dinette,
which leads right into Kyle's kitchen.
The kitchen is important. If you're gonna have a big family, that's where all the love and the cooking and everything goes down in the kitchen.
Yeah, I'm very passionate about cooking.
I honestly love when Kyle cooks for me.
When I first met Maria, she really did not know how to cook.
She'll be like, oh no, this is good, and I'll lean over to my buddy and I'm like, is it good? And be like, it's a little burnt.
I asked her if she could make some pancakes, and I promise you, I couldn't even bite through it.
I do remember they were very, chewy.
We have a big kitchen ourselves, and all I know is that when you do work on a kitchen, you gotta make sure you get it right.
So right now it's a huge challenge because half of our kitchen equipment, plates, cups, stuff like that is up in cabinets that he can't reach.
We're gonna make sure that the shelves and everything are accessible, and the countertops and the sink.
Base cabinets with organizers and pull-out shelves can allow Kyle easy access and ample room to move around the kitchen.
I'm honestly just really excited that our house will have a stovetop, and then he can wheel up right to the stovetop, and it's like the counter is cut out under the stove, so his chair can go under the countertops.
Worked in the pantry. Pantry's a little tight.
So he has a choice to do a 360, be able to have shelves on 3 sides, or he could just roll in and roll out.
If he needs to be able to do a 360, we can take a foot somewhere. Something can be sacrificed, whether it's a wall in the kitchen or a wall in the office.
It's just trying to fit it in. I don't know if the corner is really the best location for it, but that's something we'll look at. And then too here, what we've got to kind of look at is how this Living room really starts to function here. We want to try to maintain as much glass here and exposure as we can, just because basically you've got this wooded lot, you have the view, we want to take advantage of it.
And then we travel from the public space into the private and extra bedrooms.
We've got the 2 bedrooms, the guest bath between the bedrooms, everything, and our access to the, whether it be a bedroom or study, still is off the hallway there.
Having kids is a beautiful thing. You definitely want to have wonderful space for them.
It's hard work, but it's also a sense of completion.
We haven't even started a family, but I just immediately right then and there just felt like my family, my future family was going to be okay.
I feel like the biggest advantage that having an accessible home is going to give us is more independence for Kyle.
They're going to make sure that the house is built so that he can access every part of it. He can get into the kids' rooms when he has kids. He can do everything at the kitchen that he needs to, that he's able to do the laundry if he's stuck doing that.
Alex and I are so grateful for Jared and his family and his organization doing this for us, because it literally is going to spark us to have our own family.
I don't think the public quite understands the amount of sacrifice that these servicemen actually did. They're young kids that are coming back with disabilities that are permanent. They're not going to have the ability to run, jump, play, climb like they used to. So it's a pride for the Carpenters to take into building a house for somebody like Kyle that he earns this.
I guess I'm hoping it evolves our relationship into, another step, kind of like into a new level, because maybe I'll be a little less of a caregiver and I'll be able to be more of a wife. Not that I'm not a wife right now or that I'm not enough of a wife, but I'll be able to be more of a wife.
And we are going to be more than okay, actually. We're going to live the time of our lives because we have this home. We're not going to be living out of an apartment. We're going to have our own yard. It just, beautiful.
Alex and Kyle have sacrificed so much for the country, and they're such an inspiration to us all.
The entire Built to Last family is looking forward to following their journey.
The Mosers really are an inspiration. It makes me proud to know that even when the going gets tough, especially when it gets tough, we come together united to ensure that our nation is built to last.
That's all for this episode. We'll see you next time. What, no joke?
I'm shaving them for next time.
There's no puns in the court, Mark.
Do you see what I've been dealing with?
I saved my best show for the finale, and that's what I get from you guys.